What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the R.A.G, the Reviving a Generation podcast. It's your boy, Joshua St. Clair Minor. Let's get it. How we doing today? You're listening to the very first Reviving a Generation podcast. Come on, give yourselves a hand. Hey, man, y'all are welcome, guys. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here, so excited you're tuned in. I'm super excited for what this journey holds. I'm excited for what this is going to mean to me, what this is going to mean to you. I'm excited to grow together. I'm excited to learn together. I'm excited to revive our hearts and renew our minds. That's our motto, reviving our hearts and renewing our minds. That's my motto, man. This episode, I ain't got too much planned on the agenda. I just want you guys to get to know me a little bit, get to know my story, where I come from, why I do this. So to preface it, if you don't know my name already, my name is Joshua St. Clair Minor. What's happening? I'm black. I'm 20 years old, and doing this podcast is taking a leap of faith in something that I've never done before. I got the word from the Lord. I remember the Lord is Jesus for me. Don't know who the Lord is for you, just saying it who the Lord is to me. But I came to a season where I was feeling purposeless, I was just kind of searching for more, and I knew there was more I could do. And I just asked God, and I was like, man, Lord, what's something that I can be doing right now to walk in my purpose more? Because, when you're 20, you don't got it all figured out. Like, let's just be honest. We don't got it all figured out. We're still finding our identity. We're finding who God is, what we want to do in life, what we want to pursue, what our dreams are. Like when you're 5, they ask you what you want to be when you grow up. And you're like, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be this. I want to be that. Well, now the grown up is here. The grown up is here, and you're just kind of still searching. You don't know if you want to be that firefighter. You don't know if you want to be that policeman, the lawyer, the doctor. And you get to 20 years old, and you graduate. I've graduated college. And you find out that life is way more complicated than, you thought it would be. And I'm starting this podcast to just walk alongside people my age, people who may be older or a little older or younger, who are just enamored with culture, enamored with things that the world has told us, that people have told us how to think. And I'm not a voice telling you how to think. I am just a voice challenging how you think. I don't want to be the guy that's saying, you should think like this. You should think like this. Now, this isn't necessarily only for Christians. I want this to be a podcast where everybody can listen to it. But if you are listening to it and you're not a Christian, I want you to understand that everything that I say is going to be based out of my Christian worldview. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he died for our sins. I believe that he rose from the dead for my sins, and that he's seated by the right hand of the Father in heaven. So that's what I believe. I believe that I've been, I have a relationship with him. And I believe that when I die, I'm going to heaven. And so everything I say, that's going to be, where it's coming from, the Bible. I believe the Bible is true. I believe that everything in the Bible is true. And I'll talk about that more later, but this is who I am. There's so many voices, so much noise, so much static. And I just want to challenge us to hear the right voice. And that's God's voice, in my opinion. And I can attest to that through my own experiences in life, through my own testimony. Like I said, I'm 20 years old. My name is Joshua. I'm engaged to this beautiful, amazing woman. Her name is Charity, soon to be Minor. I love her with all my heart. I love her so much. She is, man, I couldn't have thunk her up. I had a mentor. He would tell me, He said, God's so good, he won't even let you mess it up. And he didn't let me mess it up. And I'm so grateful that she is in my life. I'm so grateful, and I'm looking forward to spending the rest of my life with her. So, baby girl, I love you so much. And you guys will see her on the pod too, as it continues going. But we're doing a long distance relationship right now, which is hard. I graduated college in May. I went to Bible school or ministry school, Highlands College. I had an amazing time there. That's my relationship with God really grew there, and I've gotten the opportunity to walk alongside the best people, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I met my wife. I met my best friends there. Like, man, and it's been an amazing journey, guys. Um, in this podcast, even though I'm young, and I value the wisdom of older people, of people who have gone before me, who have trailblazed the path before me. But I also enjoy the the challenge and the iron sharpening iron that I get to do with my friends that's right beside me. That we recognize we ain't got it all figured out. We ain't got it all together, but hey, we rocking together. We doing this thing together, and I'm grateful for my friends, and they know who they are. My brothers, my sisters, they all know who they are. Fight Club, what's happening? Man, and my brethren, man, we love each other. We love each other hard, and I'm grateful to do life with them. And that's what I want to do with ooh. That's what I want to do with this podcast. I want to do life, you know. Let's have a conversation, even though it's just me for sometimes, but I just want to challenge us, challenge our thinking, challenge why do we think like that? Why are they telling us this? Why should we think like this? Or, what's beneficial? What's real? What's not real? What's propaganda? What's not propaganda? Like, so many voices. The news is a voice. A lot of other podcasts are voices. It's a lot. So many people now are popping up and doing YouTube and kind of being Pharisees online, or being just criticizing people left and right. And sometimes they're right. Sometimes those criticisms are right, and sometimes it goes too far. But this isn't what I want to be. Of course, I may address some things, but I mean, it's between them and God. You feel me? But so just to get to know me, I grew up in a legalist. I grew up in church, and I grew up with my mom, my sister, in a single parent household. My dad wasn't in my life. I know who my dad is, and I love him dearly. But in all honesty, we just don't have a relationship. Um, Growing up without him, I feel like molded me into the man that I am today. And I can resonate with all the fatherless kids out there who are seeking approval, or seeking security, and feeling insecure and identity. And I feel that, and that's the weight of not having a father that you didn't ask for, that I didn't ask for, but I also wouldn't trade it for the world. I pray, and I know my dad is probably going to watch this as well. I pray that me and him can have a closer relationship, a deeper relationship. But right now, and up to this point, it hasn't been that. Grew up in a single parent household. My mama is a rock star. Oh my goodness. My mama, we grew up kind of poor. We grew up in a trailer. The trailer, y'all, it was okay in the beginning years, but then it became like unlivable. You couldn't live in that. Mold, rats, roaches, our toilet. So if you lift up the top of the lid of the toilet, you got water in it for about 4 years straight, maybe three, maybe more years. Maybe more, but as long as I can remember, we had to fill up this big jug. It was like a cheese ball jug. It was a jug that cheese balls went in, if you know. And we had to fill it up every time, after every time we used the bathroom, pour it in the toilet, and flush the toilet. And I remember I had a bed, but and I slept in my bed for a while until I got a little older and I got too big for it. And me, my mom, my little sister, and when my mom was raising my little cousin, it was four of us. We was living in the trailer and we were all sleeping in the same room. We were sleeping in one room because I grew outgrew my bed and it was broken. The mattress was not good to sleep on. Um, and I could sit in it and man, I could cry just looking back over my life and seeing how far the Lord has brought me, and I'm so grateful. But we all used to sleep in the same room. Um, they slept at the top of the bed. I slept at the foot of the bed. Um, the closet doors were broken. The back door, you couldn't open the back door. Our air conditioning was whack. We didn't have TV for a long time, so my mom taught me how to read at a very early age. Um, and that's kind of how I grew up. I grew up playing by myself. It was in the country, so it wasn't around a lot of people. Grew up playing by myself. Um, found the love for football before I knew football. I remember we first got a TV, and I saw this red team on the TV, and I loved football because I knew what a football was because we had a store and I had toys and stuff. And so I saw this red team on the TV, and I was like, "Mama," and my mom said I was like 5 or 6 maybe. I said, "Mama, that's the team I'm going for." And lo and behold, and I ain't switched up since. And lo and behold, I picked the greatest football program of all time, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll Tide, Lank, everything, each and every one of them, all of it. Let all they say is no. That's my team, Roll Tide. Um, that's the team I picked. That's the team I love dearly, man. Growing up in Alabama, football is huge. So we lived in the country, and I'm an Alabama football fan. Uh, Growing up, kind of poor. My mom didn't show it much, but she was a rock star, man. Raised us in the church. Did everything she had to do. And look at how I'm so proud of how it turned out. How me and my little sister are turning out, and I'm proud of her. She's still single to this day, but she carries the world on her shoulders, and she's shown me the definition of faith. She's shown me the definition of love. Of She has a giving heart. I've seen her give to people when we didn't have money, and it'll be a good amount. Like she'll be like, "Son, today I was on the phone at work, and this lady called in. She's a single mother. She got 3 kids, and she ain't have nothing in her bank account. And the Lord just moved me to put $100 in her bank account or $200, and I was like, Mom, we ain't got that type of money to be giving. But she was teaching me something in those moments, and and now like she's still there. So I'm very grateful for my mom. We went to this church that so we went to this church that my dad brought my mom to, but then they got a divorce when I was around maybe one. Um, and my mom stayed at the church. My dad left the church, and the church was super legalistic. I love all the people there. I'm grateful for the experience that I've had there, but all the people were legalistic. It was a holiness church, so if you're not a Christian, there's a lot of denominations in the body of Christ, and they don't all agree on the same things. But the denomination I was in was kind of like a mixture of some of them. But the things that they taught, they really didn't teach the Bible a whole lot. It was very judgmental a lot. Um, nothing against a dress or a skirt, but the women could only wear dresses or really dresses. They couldn't get their hair done. They were against playing sports. They were against going to prom. They were against a lot of like things. They going to a graduation or a funeral or a family get together. Like a lot of the things they just call everything worldly, and anything that was worldly was getting sent to hell. And so If you did any of these things, excuse me, if you did any of these things, basically you were going to hell. And it was rough, man. It was kind of boring. We would walk in and they would pray, or the start of the service started maybe at 7 or 8, maybe 9, I don't know. But they would pray on their knees for a long time. And I'll get into more of this later, but that wasn't wasted for me in my life. But they would pray on their knees for a long time, and then they would get up randomly at just some random time, and it could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours. They get up, they turn around real slow. Everybody who was asleep, wiping the crust out their eyes. I'm wiping. I remember, man, it's so many times, and we had these wooden pews, y'all, man. But then we got the chairs changed after a while. But we had these wooden pews, and man, I remember being on my knees, sleep, and like I get up, and it's just my face is covered in my slop, like it's so, and I'm in a puddle. I have to wipe it up with my elbow, and I know there's some stains in that wood from my spit and saliva. But we get up, and then it was like a free for all. Like anybody could go up and give a testimony or sing any random song. But all that to say, I didn't grow up with the best view of God. Continuing on, I got into music. My dad was a musician. My mom could sing really well. My grandmother, my granddad could sing. So I'm just musically inclined, and I'm athletic, and so I love football. But my dad was the piano player at the church beforehand. And now this church is small, y'all. I'm talking about on its best Sunday, like 20 people. Like it ain't a whole lot of folks going to that church. It's a small tin can church. It wasn't a whole lot. Like it's in the country, but I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it. But I remember getting into music. My great grandmother found out I could sing when I was 4 or 5. She said I was singing a song and I bust out some. It was smooth too. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was over there playing with the vents in my trailer, and my great grandmother moved down to help my mom because I was in school and nobody was home to get me. She was at work in Montgomery, Alabama, but we lived in Grady, which is like an hour maybe away, 45 minutes. But I would get home from school off the bus before she got home from work, and sometimes I would just sit out there by myself. And for a kid, especially today, like that's dangerous. Like anybody could be riding in the country and decide they want to take me, and I'm in kindergarten, in the first grade, but my mom always found a way. And my great grandmother moved down in order to help my mom and get me off the bus and stuff like that. But she was the first person to discover that I could sing. And I bust out the smoothest, hey, yeah, yeah. You feel me? Like I bust that thing out. My grandma was saying, boy, you can sing. And she said, oh, and she just hugged me. And it's like she knew in that moment. And my great grandmother prophesied over me, and people at that church prophesied over me, over my life before I was born. They told my mom what I would look like. They told her that I was going to do great things in the kingdom of God. Like, and they told me this as well. It's countless times I don't even remember that I've been prophesied over, at a young age. But my great grandmother found out I could sing, and she just hugged me. And then when I got older, I was around 9 or 10. I told the pastors at the church, I was like, I want to play the piano, because I got tired of listening to us just sing these songs and want no music. And I didn't even know how to play piano. I was in piano lessons when I was maybe 2 or 3, but my mom said I would frustrate the piano teacher because she would play something and I would play it back, but just in a different way. I just played it differently, and that's kind of a test to who I am today. Like somebody shows me how to do something, I'm like, I'm gonna do that a different way, and it's still gonna get done efficient, probably better. You feel me? Not even being proper, but I'm still like that. But I play it back in a different way, and teachers frustrated, and so I already have kind of like that musical knowledge. I knew what it was. Didn't know why I knew the piano so well. I didn't know why I knew this was that and that this worked, that worked. That this chord just felt good. And so I didn't have much experience. They was like, "Cool, you can play the piano." So the next Sunday, I'm playing the piano, and I ain't got a lick or a clue of what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And they coming up. It ain't no set list. It ain't no plan. I don't know what's about to happen next. Ain't no structure. So they just coming up. They all singing a different song. They singing in different keys. Like they ain't staying. They never stayed in the same key. So, but that taught me that it taught me how to play by ear. It taught me how to find and follow. So I become a musician partly because my dad was that, but it was also a part of God's plan in my life. And I'm so grateful that I did. And I'm grateful for the church because even though it was very legalistic, and they didn't teach me the Bible, and it was just they were very judgmental. They pushed a lot of people away. However, and a lot of crazy stuff happened there too, but however, it was a very high spiritual temperature. It taught me, how to pray. It taught me how to seek God. It taught me, like, even though these denominations, like, no one is perfect. Not all of them get everything right, but they're doing according to what they believe is right. And it's not that they don't love the Lord, but sometimes the enemy just tricks us and we just get it wrong, and we do things the wrong way. That's just people in general, like non-denominational people do it. Baptist people do it. Holiness people, Pentecostal people, apostolic people, like everyone does it. Atheists, it doesn't matter. No matter how we try to get everything to the T correct and right, it's just impossible because we're sinful creatures and we're gonna make mistakes. But it taught me how to pray. It taught me how to seek God. It taught me to have like a fear of God and a reverence and a belief for the Bible. Like, I believe the Bible is true, and I'm glad that I believe the Bible is true because the Bible works, and it taught me, I don't see things through the same lens as other people do. I see a lot of things through a spiritual lens, and partially because I grew up, they were prophesying about the world so much. Some things they were being too judgmental on, but a lot of the time they were spot on. And so I kind of learned how to see things in a different light, see things that people may be trying to push on us, and I'd be like, that don't really make sense, or that's just how I grew up. And then it also gave me a foundation to music. And now today I'm a songwriter. I'm an artist. And so I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for that church and for those things. But also while I was growing up, I was exposed to things way too early that I shouldn't be exposed to. I was exposed to porn, and doing things in the second grade and the third grade that no second or third graders should be partaking in. And I look at second and third graders today, and I was like, I just look and I'm just like, bro, I was that small and I was just that innocent when I was doing that. And the Lord has redeemed me and all that stuff, but exposed to things way too young. And so as I continue to grow up, even though I'm at this legalistic church, because nobody was teaching me anything, I'm becoming, as I continue to grow, I'm growing in enmity with God. Like, God is becoming my enemy, and I'm doing stuff with girls. I've never gotten into hardcore drugs. I tried weed and I couldn't get high. Like, I tried to get drunk a couple times and it just didn't work. Like, everybody will have a hangover and I wake up or they're like sloppy drunk and I'm just like, bruh, I feel fine. Like, I was trying to get drunk. Like, I was just trying to ruin my life, but I'm like, bruh, I'm trying to get drunk and I could not get drunk. And we wake up the next morning, and everybody's like, oh, they got headaches, hangovers. And I wake up, brushing my teeth. I'm like, man, I did that for nothing. And so I just never got into that stuff. Praise God. Alcohol to me don't even taste good. But so I'm doing things, and I'm becoming an enemy of God, and God is becoming my enemy. And I get to a point where the beat down from my church is so much, and I'm like, man, if I gotta live like this, I don't want to serve God. I don't want to live for God. I'd rather go to hell. Now, y'all, that is probably the dumbest thing I ever said in my life. I got maybe 90 years, 80 years on this earth. Who knows? Hopefully 90. Maybe if I can still walk and run good and don't nobody got to change my diaper. But like, it's a short time on this earth compared to eternity. And I'm so like, one, the church is so judgmental that I make that statement. Two, I'm so dumb to be like, yeah, I'll spend eternity burning and stinking and hot. Like, what? Like, it don't even make sense. And so I come to that conclusion in my life. But then I'm in the 10th grade, and I'm doing all this stuff. Like, I'm still going to church. I love God, like just saying the cliche stuff that everybody says. And I come to a point where the guidance counselor walks in, and she's like, if you don't know what you're going to do with your life by now, you're going to fail at life. And one of my biggest fears, so growing up, I was the smallest. I was last pick for a lot. My dad wasn't in my life. So that breeded a lot of insecurity, and it breeded a lot of pain and hurt in my life. And I felt like I had something to prove to everybody. And so I just got in the gym. I got super buff. Like, I'm just trying to get big. And I'm striving to be the best at everything. I'm like, I ain't second to nobody. That's how I felt. But I got to that point, and all of my friends know what they're going to do with their life. They're like, and I'm playing basketball at this point. I played football. I was really good. Could have went D1. My mom made me do academics instead. I'm going to leave that story where it's at. I don't want to get into it. Played basketball a little bit in high school. That's a story I'm going to talk about later because it's so deep. But I'm playing basketball. I come to the realization I'm 5'7". Like, it's a very, very, very slim chance that I'm going to go to the NBA. Like, I don't want to waste my life trying to strive for something that's not going to happen. Like, it's just not. I was very athletic for 5'7". Like, I could jump high. I could dunk at one time. Like, I don't have video receipts. I wish I did. But like in game, I never dunked in game, but like in warm-ups, I had hops, y'all. Like, I was huge. Like, but I could shoot really well. Like, I was a great defender. I was all this stuff, but I was like, man, let's be real, bro. I'm in the 10th grade. I'm in the 11th grade. I ain't had never had a scout come look at me. Like, I ain't never had nobody. Like, I'm not going to the league. So now I really don't know what I'm going to do. But all my friends, they're like, yeah, I'm going to this university. I'm going to this university. I'm going to be this orthodontist. I'm going to be this person. I'm going to be that. I'm going to be this. I'm going to do this. And I was just like, oh, no. My life is in shambles. I've been doing all of this. I've just been living life. I've just, and now I don't have anything. I don't have anything to account for. I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. And that's, if you're in high school and you have no clue, I still have no clue what I'm going to do in my life. Like, I have a slight picture maybe, but I don't know what the Lord has in store for me. Nobody has it all figured out all the time. But I become afraid of that. And I go back to my roots, and I remember all the prophecy spoken over me. I remember everything people have said, saying the Lord is going to do great things through you. And I'm thinking, Lord, great things is in the NBA. Great things is in the NFL. Great things is like, doctors and lawyers and all this stuff. And growing up in the church, almost everybody was poor, like. And so I never correlated anything to doing things in the church, because I'm like, ain't no way I'm about to be broke out here. Like, yes, God, I will want to live for you, but like, I ain't trying to be living in a shack either. Like, you feel me? And that's where my head was at. And so I get to that point, but I go back and I remember. And so I'm like, I finally get to that almost surrender point. And it's a hard point in my life because I've with a girl I've been with for 6 years or 5 years since the sixth grade, like off and on stupid relationship. Like I loved her, but puppy love is puppy love. Puppy love is love to the puppy. You feel me? Like, but like I cheated on her a couple. Like it's just dumb. It was just dumb doing dumb teenager stuff. But y'all, she broke my heart bad, and so all of this is happening, and I'm like, okay, God, I need you. And I go searching. I go on this search, and we go to a church, in my grandparents' and my mom's hometown. And this guy, this preacher, he's prophesying over everybody, and he's telling this lady like, this is what you did at 3:14 last night, whatever. Like he's just all up in their business and telling them everything. And I'm like, okay. And they're just walking up to the front. So I was like, I need to be bold. And I'm the last one like in the line. And so he's telling everybody everything, and he's like adding value to their life. And he gets to me, I'm like, I'm fine. The Lord's gonna tell me what I need to do with my life. And so get to this man, and this man tells me, he says, the Lord has great things planned for your life. You just have to trust him. And I said, no, he didn't. Just tell me nothing. I was like, what am I gonna do with that? It's like, what? And that's what I went home with. Straight up that. And I was just like, yo, no, he didn't just give me no. He just told all these people what they ate for breakfast and like what to do to make their life better. And he just told me the Lord has great things in store for my life if I just trust him. And I'm like, all right, bro. So I get home, and a couple weeks later, I find myself in the bed, and this fear just comes over me, and I just start bawling, man. I'm talking about, I am crying my eyes out, and and in that moment, I just surrendered. And also in this time, we're getting ready to leave the church, and God is going to lead us to a different life-giving church. And I'm bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, Lord, I need you. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to be a failure. And I remember so clearly, I was in a ball, literally like a fetus in a womb. And I felt this peace come over me. And I remember hearing the audible voice of God. He said, everything is going to be okay. He didn't tell me how. He didn't tell me when. He just said, everything is going to be okay. And this peace fell over me. And I just cried. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And that marked me, and that changed my life. So later on, we get to another church, and I had never heard the Bible preached like that. I was still kind of running from God, even though he had just told me this. And I give my life to Christ, and I do things for God that I said I would never do. I joined the worship team, like, and he just worked so much. He's I can't even explain it to you. Just the favor he allowed me to have, his presence filled me, and I became on fire, and I learned that I was a leader. I learned that I had gifts. I learned that there's more to life than I thought. He has more for me than I thought. And it began to unfold for me. And so then COVID hits, and that's my best year yet. It was a rough year for a lot of people as far as being separated, but it was good for me because I was separated from friends in my life that maybe weren't good influences. I was separated from all the girls, and it's just me. And in that time, like, I still make mistakes, y'all. Like, even as the Lord transformed me, and still to this day, like everybody still makes mistakes, like I said, but like God has transformed me, and just looking back from year to year to year to year to year, how far I've come. And so I end up, at first I'm an R&B artist, right? And I'm writing music art for R&B. And I'm just like writing songs for girls, talking about sex, talking about, money, all that stuff. And I said I'd never write a Christian song, because what can you write about God? Like, the Bible is only so big. But then I learned, as I kept going, like, revelations don't end. Like, God just continues to drop bombs on you. Like, the God is so vast. He's boundless. Like, we will never understand him fully on this earth. We will never fully, know every side of who he is. We can only continue to walk with him. And I remember someone challenged. It was one of my mentors. He challenged me to write a Christian song. And I was like, I don't really write Christian music. And I was like, I'll try it. Maybe one song. Like, I can write one. And y'all, it started something. And now I don't even know how many songs I have. I could give you an estimate, maybe 200 to 215, maybe 200, 215 ish. And that's only since 20. I wrote my first Christian song in 2021. It's 2024 now. And uh and so yeah, well, it's 2023. But yeah, like, the Lord, he's just done great things. And I've seen him do great things in my life, and I've seen him allow me to walk with people. Like, I remember I had one friend group, and the Lord, like, put godly friends in my life, and and it it was just as fun. We weren't doing anything crazy. We had a good time, a lot of laughs. We created stuff together. And so that's what I want this podcast to be. Um, Now, then I ended up going up to Highlands College, which is a ministry school. Said I would never go to a Christian college, and there I found even more friends, and I grow even more in my relationship with God, and in my knowledge of who He is, and it changes me. It marks me. I find my wife there. I go through a lot of hard things there, like so many hard things. And now I moved from Alabama. Now I live in Texas, and I'm working full time at a church. Still following the Lord, still, looking and searching for what He wants me to do fully, like, at the church, impacting people, y'all. Like, I'm grateful that this church took a chance on me. Um, I'm grateful for the pastor, for all the leaders. Um, but I know there's more as well that the Lord will have me to do. Not only this is awesome, but there's more as well. And I think there's more for all of us. We just have to take the scales off of our eyes. Um, we have to see clearly, um, and know God clearly, That probably makes no sense. But yeah, now I'm at a church in Texas. It's awesome. I love it. I love the people. Um, and I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited for the journey. I'm excited. I'm 20. So much more life to live. Such a ways to go, you know. And it's gonna be amazing. God, I can't wait to see what God's exceedingly abundantly above all I could ask, think, or imagine is for my life. And I want that to happen in all of our lives. But what that takes, I remember I had a season where the Lord was kind of taking me out of the world. And it wasn't isolation, it was separation. And he was taking old things out and putting new things in. And that's what I want the Reviving a Generation podcast to be. A lot of things go into our hearts, go into our minds, go into our spirits. And the Bible tells us that out of the heart flows, all things. And and so like and what we think in our minds, shape our lives. And so let's revive our hearts. Let's renew our minds together. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how many people come to know Jesus through this. You know, I'm a fun guy. I'm a fun guy, man. So it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to have my future wife on here with me. I'm excited for all the guests that are gonna be here with me. So it's gonna be lit, y'all. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. All right, we going up, and we going up together. Let's do this. Let's rock. Let's roll. You have been listening to the first episode. The first. You all want me to sing you a song? You've been listening to the first episode. Hey, go listen to my songs. Joshua St. Clair Minor, St.Clair Minor, Minor. You'll find all my music there. I hope it impacts you. I hope it touches you. But you've been listening to the R.A.G. Hey, we'll see y'all later. Peace.